Hey, so wonderful to have you tuned in on Woman Without Limits. I am Reverend Kathy Kiuna, and I want to let you know that the stories we have on this page, they're amazing. They're going to transform your life. No, revolutionize your life. You can never be the same again, because we bring stories that alter your destiny to let you know that you don't have to get stuck. The past doesn't have to have a hold on you. You can change, you can be lifted, you can start afresh, and you can become a woman without limits. Today, the story, even me, I'm like, is it real? Is it what? Like, it is breathtaking. Just stay tuned. Today I have a guest. Her name is Lissa, and she's going to tell us her story. I don't even want to preempt. You just stay tuned and keep watching this. Hello, Lissa.
Hello.
Hey, so nice to meet you.
And you. It's a privilege to be here. So I was born in Kenya to a mother and a father. I'm the fifth of 8 brothers and sisters. So it was quite a big family. And I left when I was 4 years and 8 months from Kenya and adopted and taken to the UK.
So maybe that's where we should start. Like, you left when you were 4 years old, and you left Kenya, and when did you want to leave, and how did that happen?
I think as children, we conform, when you're a child, you can actually take any situation and be quite resilient. So for me, it wasn't a trauma at that time, I don't think. I went to a new family.
How did you know the family? Like, what do you mean you went to a new family? What happened? How did they find you even?
So they were both my adoptive father was in the military. And
in the UK?
Here in Kenya. So at the time in 1963, I think the British were here to help with the government at that time.
Yeah.
So he was here, stationed in Kenya, and they made plans and adopted me from a Kenyan family.
How did they make those plans? Like, with your parents? Were they...
And
out of 8, why you?
Yes. So that's one of my questions is why me out of all of these children? So the story goes that they rounded up, they wanted all of the children in the area, in that family, to come together so that they could choose one. And we were just coming out of British rule by then. Yeah. So probably to Kenyans, it was giving this British family what they wanted. They wanted a child from Kenya to go to the UK. So they rounded us all up. This is the story that I've been led to believe.
You've learnt later.
I've learnt.
Yeah.
And they chose me.
So they rounded every child, and the 8 of you.
Yes.
And they,
and there were other cousins within that family that came. I've since learnt that there was somebody in that family, in that group, that was so frightened they ran and hid in the trees, in the bushes, because they didn't want to be taken. And that's the trauma for a child, thinking they're going to be taken away from their parents, their family, their culture, their country.
All they know.
And the children were scared.
So some of them ran away?
Yeah, some of them hid in the bushes or removed themselves from that group gathering.
Right.
I can't remember that day.
Because you were too little, you were 4. Yeah.
But they made the decision to take me.
So, and when they made the decision, your parents just said, okay?
Yeah. So
what was the promise?
I think at the time, my parents thought that I would go and get a better life, go and get educated and be brought back to the family, so that I would bring wealth and prosperity back to the family because I would be educated. They always believed that I would come back, and unfortunately,
So
the
before,
British made their plans to actually exit me without ever coming back.
what? The plans were from now the British to take you and never bring you back.
Never bring
But your parents were promised that you were coming back.
Yeah.
You were just going to get educated and get a better life and bring them prosperity.
Yeah.
And so that's why they consented.
My name is Lilian Kanyinyo. I'm the second born of Mr. Lucas Kanyinyo and Rachel Nyambura.
So how do you tie in into this story of Lissa?
Lissa is the fifth born daughter of Clement Kagundu, my grandfather, and Gradwell Wangari, that is me now,
Yeah.
named after my grandmother.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how did you know about the story of Lissa? What, you know?
Yeah, when we were growing up, we used to hear our dad saying there was a daughter, they used to call her a girl, that left with Mzungu. So the only thing we could connect is Mzungu. And so we kind of hated Wazungu because
They took
they
you.
snatched one of our auntie. So we could see Wazungu and just
Remember.
Yeah. But 2011 is when I heard the whole story because there was one who came and she was like, she came through newspaper. That is 2011 was 28th August.
Right.
And she was looking for her family. And so we were connected from far. We were told that could be your Wanjiru. That could be your
Wanjiru that
you
was
have
taken
been-
many years ago.
Yeah. I had to go and see her. So I had to do the normal DNA, check the toes, you check the,
The looks.
the looks.
And see whether there's anything.
But she was tall, and that was the day I had my dad saying the whole story. My grandfather, brother, he was called Mr. Kinyanjui. He had a friend, the couple now. They didn't have children, but they used to visit there most of the time. His workplace, all over. And now he said that he wants a child where he can go and educate and bring the wealth back to the family.
Right.
I don't know if we were poor because our grandfather had a truck, why she was bringing wealth, it didn't connect.
It didn't connect.
But this Muzungu, there was like several kids he was targeting, like that one from Shusho's side, and then the mother refused. And then he said he wants from this Mr. Kinyanjui's house. He refused. And because that grandfather was very wise, he invited the other two brothers and the great-grandmother, because our great-grandfather, he had two wives.
Right.
So he had a young wife with young children. And so all of them were gathered in one place. All of them. Some were
All the
brown.
children.
Yeah, some were brown, some were dark, and they were all gathered in one place. And so the deal was this Muzungu in front of the brothers to come and choose.
Whoever he wanted.
My grandfather had no idea because he was involved. Even my grandmother, they didn't have that connection. It is the Mzungu they used to see, but they didn't have that connection.
That what they wanted to do with the child.
Not the child, the relationship. And so because it's an open, it was like a market, come and choose. So my grandfather didn't have a say to say no. So they all brought their children there. But my dad was not there. He was holding this child. And as they were coming, this child was destructive. He could just sit down. She doesn't want to go. And my father didn't know what was happening in that meeting. Because he used to say, if he knew, he could have run away with the kid. And so when he came, because it was an open place,
Yeah.
the Mzungu wife, she smiled and said, that's the child.
Meanwhile, the child now is Wanjiru.
Yes, she was young, a little one.
Yeah.
And so immediately she changed her clothes and put her the new clothes, and that was it. So my grandfather was shocked, together with my grandmother.
Yeah.
But because it was a deal, they had no choice.
They let her go.
Yeah.
So it was hurting them.
Yeah.
According to their story,
Yes.
Wanjiru's parents
Yeah.
were left hurting. They felt bad that their child was taken.
Yeah. This Muzungu used to live in Junction where the Yara school started. And so my father was a truck driver, and he used to go with his father. They used to go and visit. And Wanjiru, this is what Wanjiru was being told. This is father 1 and this is father 2. Father 1, father 2. So they will visit, and then the Mzungu will come back home and visit and tell her the same thing. His
am
father
father.
1 and father 2.
So he would say he's father too.
Yeah, father 2. And this is father 1. So they would visit, but one day my grandfather told my father, let's go. And they found Mzungu had moved. He left with the child. They didn't know where to track. They didn't know where to start. They didn't know where to... And that is where my grandfather's sickness started. Yes.
Wanjiru's father.
Yes. Because he did not give that Mzungu the consent.
So now here you are on your way.
Yes. I went on, I was taken back to the UK on a military airport plane.
Yeah.
Because the person was in the military.
Are you scared? Are you thinking about anything? Are you confused? Can you even remember?
I can't remember. But I was on the plane that was all white, and I was the only black person, the black child there. So we landed at an Air Force base, and that was my home for many years. And I don't know if you know, an Air Force base is secluded, it's protected, and that's where I stayed for many years.
For many years?
Yeah.
So you're growing. As you're growing, are you asking yourself questions?
Yes. When you're 5, you probably, if you've got a nice dress, a nice toy, you probably don't ask the questions. But as you get older, you kind of feel, why am I here? This is not my family. This, they say blood is thicker than water, and it really is, because however much you can be placed in a family, you will always yearn, well I did, always yearn to know my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my cousins. It's a yearning that you
It's
have.
a hunger.
Yes.
You want to know.
Yes.
Like, where did I come from?
Yes.
Where
It's
are
very important.
my people?
Yes.
Did you think at that time maybe you're going to go back, or maybe they're going to come fetch you?
I asked to go back. I asked my adopted parents that I want to go back to my family, and it was a no. I asked who my family were, and it was, we cannot tell you.
Don't tell her. Don't ask her.
Yes. And so I was made to grow up thinking I must never ask that question. I must never know who my family is. But as I said, it's a yearning inside of you that you must know even if you don't live and you don't get to live with your family, you must know who
they
family
are.
is.
Did you understand their English? I mean, you're just a little girl.
I must have spoke English as well as Kikuyu and Swahili. I must have spoke both of them.
Yeah.
But if I'm in an environment where they only speak English, my my language disappeared.
It disappeared.
Yeah.
So you could, now you started understanding. Because, I mean, they were British. So speak, even the way British speak, like you're speaking right now, is very, for a child, it's not something that they can understand easily.
No.
Was it a struggle, like to even hear what they were saying?
I don't think it was a struggle because I think I spoke English as well, or understood English. I don't know. But the struggle for me was being in a white environment,
being the only.
in a white country that's freezing cold, I have to say. That affected me. That made me think, this is not my country. This is not who I am. So for many years, I did have those questions in my mind.
So how was the growing? How was the growing up? Like, was it an easy childhood? Were you a happy child?
I was, until I got to a certain age where then my responsibilities within that family changed. I was the one that did the housework. I was the one that looked after the children. My responsibilities as I got older, I realised were changing. So my childhood kind of died.
So you really didn't get a chance to be a child?
No.
You were grown before you were grown?
Yes. I
So
seemed
now
to
you
be an adult before I was an adult.
So you started taking care of the rest, the other kids?
Yes.
Wow. And doing the house chores
Yeah.
and cooking.
And because I didn't know any other, I did it very well. I didn't know any other life. I just knew that life. So I did it well. And my bond with those children, we're all human beings.
Yeah.
But then I realised when I was a teenager that I was that person there and those children were those children there. And that hurt.
Wow. So you realized that it wasn't one big happy family. You were different.
Yes. Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
I needed to find who I was. It just made me grow stronger, that I know that I need to ask the Lord to take me back. But then you get things in life where it comes along and you have to deal with different challenges. So I left home at 16.
At 16. But you told me as we were talking behind the scenes earlier on that from the age of 9 you started to run away?
Yeah.
From the age of 9?
Yeah. I found myself, there's a major road in where I used to live, and I thought if I took that road, it would take me to London or to the big city. And I thought, I need to go there. And I walked in the dark along that road.
In the night?
In the night. And thought that I could get away. But as a black child, I would be easily recognised, I'd be easily seen, and I was, and they found me, they took me back. And
at the age of 9, that shows that you are desperate to get out.
Yeah.
But there was no help coming.
No.
And
They took me back.
When they took you back, what happened? Did they get angry at you?
Yes, but don't talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
Leave it.
Yes. Let's move on. You're not going anywhere. Let's move on.
This is it.
Yes.
You're not going anywhere. You better get it in your head that you're not leaving this place. No. This is all you have.
And for me, that was really hard for me. When I came back, it was very hard, very hard. I remember those days very well. So I got on,
When they returned you, were you dejected? Did you feel like the world had crumbled on you?
Yeah, I know how women feel when they are trapped in relationships that they need to escape from. I know what that feels like. And as a young child, I needed to find somebody that could keep me sane and keep me grounded. And I have to say, at the time, that's when I started to read the Bible, believe it or not. I read it well when I was young.
Because you were looking for solutions.
Yes.
Just get me out of this.
Yes.
Just something.
Yes.
But I need to come out.
Yes.
I don't know how, and I don't know who's going to help me, but I need somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, have you made friends at all, or this is all you have?
At that age,
At that time?
At that age, I felt very much alone. At my young life, up to when I went to secondary school, I think. And when I went to secondary school, I found some beautiful people. I'm still in contact with them. They'll know who they are.
Yeah.
That, did all the things that I wanted as a black. And made me understand that feeling cold is nothing wrong with you. Their temperature is their temperature, our temperature is our temperature.
Yeah.
I kept saying I'm feeling cold in bed. They couldn't understand it. But
Because they were used to that.
yes. So they helped me a lot.
The ones you went to school with.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But at home, it was you and them.
Yeah.
And did you tell anybody? Did you say anything
We
in
acted like
school?
we were on the outside, a lovely, beautiful family. We were, but that's not how I was feeling. That's not how I was feeling.
So the picture portrayed to everybody else was that we're happy,
Yeah.
we're good,
Yeah.
this is a part of us.
Yeah.
But in reality,
Yeah.
you knew what
Yeah.
you faced.
I knew that I needed to know, I needed to find who I was from a very young age.
Mm-hmm. So at 9, you ran away, you continued with school, and then at what other age did you try to run away again?
I left at 16.
At 16,
Yeah.
you left,
Yeah.
took your stuff and left.
Yeah.
To where?
Well, you go to who you know, who you've connected with, and I did. I went to a man who I married in the end. I married, but I was young, and I say to all those children, all those young girls, think before you do something in life. Make sure that you have your family and your friends, making sure that you're on the right path.
And you have a support system.
Yes, and you have a support system.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a support system. And so I went into a place where I shouldn't have been. I don't want to talk about that place, but it was the wrong place for me.
It was the wrong place.
And for those that are in marriages where they are feeling abused or they're not happy, do all you can to make sure that you are happy in your life.
So you left this home
Yes.
where they took you
Yeah.
without
Yes.
really
Without
your
consent.
consent, and then went into a man's home
Yes.
and he married you.
Yes.
Then he became abusive.
He was a bit abusive probably before I was married, but
Yeah.
yes. And it was very painful. And when I realised it was painful for my children. Yeah, so I had 2 children.
With this
Yes.
with this person?
And yes. 2 boys, 2 sons.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
Immediately? Like you
Yes,
ran away at
yes,
16?
immediately,
You got this
immediately.
man
Yes.
and immediately got 2 children.
Yes. And that's why I say, we're all, when you're young, you think you know what is good for you, but always consult your old elders.
You have no idea.
Because, I didn't know at that time, at that age, that was the wrong step, the wrong move for me. But I didn't have a choice.
So you came from the fire,
Yes.
from the frying pan
into the fire.
into the fire.
Yeah. And I didn't have enough knowledge to change that, or to know what the right path was, or to have family to turn around and say to me, don't do this, you know, or a mum to say, no,
This
that's
is not
right.
You're too young. Don't take that direction. You know, let's
Family.
get to even know this person and all that. You didn't have all that, and you thought that you were running away for a better life, or in search of a better life. But he became abusive. Did he become abusive immediately?
Yes, yes. And so it didn't take me very long. I had my second child, and by my second child I knew that this is another escape for me.
It's not working.
Another thing that I need to get. You know, this is not a life that I'm going to live, and I'm not going to jeopardize my children to live that life. So some people will say, how did you move? The Lord always directs me what I should do and when I should do it. And yeah, the details of that I will say another day. But
There are a lot of details. So,
Yes.
but you ran away. You
Yes.
took off.
Yes.
You took off. Did he search for you? Did he come looking for you? Or
no, that's the details of that are very very emotional, very emotional. I took my 2 children and I left with just them. So we had a house, we had everything in it. I had everything I wanted, so God's always blessing me. But I took my 2 children and me, and that was it, nothing else. And I left. And yeah.
did this other family you had?
They were a beautiful family.
Did they follow up? Did they ever follow you up?
No. And this is where I think people have to know that they should do the right thing in any situation. They should do the right thing. But no, I had no support from them.
No support from them at all.
No.
So when you left at 16, they let you go and never came looking for you at all.
No.
That was it.
No. And when I left my marriage home, I had me and my 2 boys. And I left. And I had people that were police, everything, to support me so that I could move on.
So you started afresh.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yes.
Did you get a job? And
I didn't at that time. I'm a bit old-fashioned. I feel like mothers should spend time with their children. So I didn't go to work. Plus the fact I didn't know what I could do.
So what
'Cause I
were
was
they
like
eating?
17, 18, 20. I didn't know what I could do.
so here you are 20 with 2 kids.
Yeah. But I did know that I wanted a better life for my boys. So I moved to London. I took them and I moved to London. Just me and the 2 boys, we moved to London.
Right.
And I got an education on top of the education. You know, I had, I went back to school. And yeah, from there I've slowly put the life that I want together. So I put them in schools and, you know, I lived in London, didn't know what London was like, moved there. But I can honestly say I always reach out to the one person that gives me my answers in life, that guides me in life.
Yeah.
He's always there.
God is always there.
He's always there.
Yeah. So you were able to bring them up. Were they, did they ever?
Challenges, there's challenges.
Yeah.
There's one parent, you know, women that have to bring up their children by themselves always have challenges. Just the challenge that are you going to be able to sustain your children and keep your children safe? It's what every mother wants to do.
Yeah.
Keep their children safe.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to do that?
Yeah.
How are you going to be able to do that?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to show them that I would sit and, just bring them up. I wanted to expose them to the working world, to the world where they can make money, to the world that they can progress, and do anything that they wanted to do. Yeah.
So you didn't want to bring them up in asking questions like
No.
or thinking they are poor or something like that.
Yeah.
But were they
They were fine.
they were fine?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were. It's
So you worked hard.
yeah, to be a one-parent family is hard. And I think for me it was probably harder because I didn't have family to turn to say, what do you think I should do about that? How do I do this?
And you're 20.
Yeah.
You're a kid bringing up kids.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you thinking about now your Kenyan family?
Still.
Have you known that you came from Kenya?
From the minute I arrived in the UK.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were
Yes.
looking for them.
Yeah.
So what did you do? What steps did you take in order to find a family, and how long?
So I started about 25. I started to write letters. I started to research Kenya. So I know a lot about Kenyan history.
Well,
Yeah.
you started to research
Yes,
and
yes,
write letters.
yeah.
To who?
To the embassy here, the embassy in the UK, the adoption centres. I joined an adoption group. I have gone in so many different ways in order to find somebody to help me. And then I stopped. And then I thought,
Because it took too long?
because I wasn't getting results. So I stopped. I lived my life. Probably for 5 years, I didn't think of it. It was too painful. And I thought, let me just live my life. But you get that feeling that you need to know where you've come from.
You need to know your people.
So I started again, started looking. And in 2017, I put my DNA on.
This is after how many years? 2017 now. It's after like how many
20
years?
years. It's 20, how many years is that? It's a long time.
It's a long time.
I came to Kenya, but I'm looking in the dark. It's like a needle in the haystack. So I came to Kenya looking and thought I was from this other family. Went to visit there. That wasn't a no lead.
You
So
came to
yeah,
Kenya.
yeah.
When?
January.
Which year?
January
Which year?
last year. And I wanted to find. So the one thing that's really, really hard in my search is that I never knew my name because they changed my name. So I have no name, no family name to look for. So that's why it was so difficult. And then I went and found out that my adoption papers were here in Kenya. But then I found out that it was a closed adoption. So a closed adoption.
So what do you mean closed adoption?
Yeah, a closed adoption means that I am never to know the contents of my file. I'm never to know. So it's sealed, and my parents and the officials,
It's a
everybody,
secret.
they've sealed it.
That you must never find out.
And I asked my adoptive parents many, many times,
Yeah.
who are my parents? And they said that they could never tell me. And to me, that was probably the painfulest thing that they could have ever done to me, is not tell me.
Who your parents are and where you came from.
And where I came from. That was probably the most pain. As a child, that was the most painful thing, I think. That made me want to leave. That made me want to search even more. When somebody's telling you, no, you can't know, we can't tell you. And we've taken an oath to say we will never tell you. That was
And
the most,
sealed it
and
and put it out so you...
Yes.
So they are legally covered.
Yeah.
So they're legally covered.
Yeah.
Because they signed whatever with your parents.
Yeah. And I asked him when he was very, very old, I asked the same question again, and he said that he can't tell me.
Even when he was very old.
Yeah, he couldn't tell me.
And even the wife,
Yeah.
the mother couldn't tell
No.
you.
So nobody is willing to give me just the things that I need. So then I put my... So I've written to people, I've asked for help, but it's very hard if you haven't got that information. So I put my DNA on on the Ancestry site.
You put it where?
On the Ancestry site. I put my DNA because I thought perhaps somebody will put a DNA and I will be able to find somebody.
So you put it on the Ancestry site?
Yes.
And left it there?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Were you hopeful?
I was hopeful. I was still searching, still looking, but I forgot all about Ancestry. I forgot that I'd done it. I just left it there. It was my son that actually told me to do it, and I just left it.
Of course, now he's, of course, old enough. He knows that you're searching for your parents because you told them that you were adopted.
Yeah.
You now told them the story.
Well, they've lived the life with me. Mm-hmm. They have, you know, my brothers, my adopted brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They've grown up with them. They've made that relationship. They've known that we are black and they are white.
Yeah.
You know, we've grown up in this environment. So they've known that I've always wanted to know. Yeah, they have.
So they told you, why don't you do this?
Yes.
And you did it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So what happened after that? Like, did you wait long? Did something happen?
2017, I put that up.
Yeah.
And I still continued to do my own searches. In actual fact, the urgency became more apparent within me.
As you grew older,
yes,
you wanted to find them.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It was a need that I needed to do it. I knew I needed to do it for whatever reason. And so I got a message from my nephew, who's my nephew now, to say, your DNA matches.
After how long, Lissa?
57 years. 57 years.
57 years.
Yeah. I can't describe.
57 years. Hold on, Lissa. 57 years.
Yeah.
So tell me your name.
My name is Nyaga.
Nyaga.
Goge.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, so guys, Nyaga is Lissa's nephew, the one who worked on the DNA. And Nyaga, maybe we can start from there.
Yes.
And you tell us how did you put your grandmother's DNA on the? This is a myth.
Yeah. So I've been doing our family tree for a number of years, since 2005, say.
Yeah.
And, you know, started with seeing old pictures in grandma's house and you don't know who those are.
Yeah.
And I was always fascinated when I'm told this is your grandfather or these are your people. You know, you're always told these are your people.
Yeah.
But you don't really know exactly. You know, you have so many aunts, so many uncles, so many grands. So fast forward to, you know, a little later, 2014, where I started noticing that my family tree has about almost 900 people. But somewhere in the generations, you start noticing you don't have pictures. We have a picture that's 1938. It's like the earliest picture
That you have.
that we have.
Yeah.
But I noticed that we don't have my grandmother's mother's picture. We have only one picture of my grandmother's father, who's Lissa's grandfather, just one picture.
Yeah.
So I started thinking maybe we need to take DNA, because there are people who maybe had an opportunity to take a picture, but they didn't take a picture. So maybe if we have the opportunity now to take DNA, we don't know what it will do in the future. And there's that, but then there's also finding out more about your ancestry, because DNA goes back hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yes.
So that's how, you know, my grandma is about 95, and I've been thinking of doing it. The kits, you know, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
So we bought, you have to buy a kit. So we bought enough kits for as many grandparents that we have.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
You need to educate me. I need to know my people.
Yeah.
I'm coming for my people.
Yeah. So that's how I ended up about earlier this year, about March, talking with my grandma, and I didn't even know how to approach that I need a specimen
from her at 95.
At 95.
How will you even explain?
Yeah. So that's how I went about it, and then.
So did you explain to her like what it was?
Yeah, I needed. So my mom was there, my uncle was there.
Yeah.
So we did our best.
Yeah.
But I told her this is like a photograph, but more than that, it tells us a lot about where we are from, our ancestry.
Right.
And there's so much information that over time we can get from it.
Yeah.
So you can get traits, like for example, do you have the athlete gene? It's called the sprinter gene. She used to run very fast.
Your grandma?
Yes. And it turns out we have that. So we actually ran very fast. So we explained that to her, and she was happy to give her specimen.
Especially the running part.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
So she gave the specimen.
Yes.
How do you get the specimen? Is it blood?
So most kits are one of two. So you can either take a saliva, you put it in a little vial, and then the other one is you swab.
Right.
So you put a swab on your cheek on the inside, and you swab that, and you know, those are generally the two most common types of specimens.
Right.
Yes.
So you swabbed or whatever?
Hers was the spit kind.
Yeah.
And she gave and kept asking if I want more. But yeah.
I like her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But that was enough.
That was enough.
So you took it?
Yes.
And took it where?
So I took the sample, and I do live in the US, so I took it back and I sent it in to the ancestry people. So they process it. And so we are waiting.
Yeah.
And then, you know, after, say, about a month, the results are in.
Yeah.
So, you know, I log in. I've never seen any DNA results. So I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So I spent actually the first few times in the account looking at ancestry information.
Yeah.
You know, where are you guys from? You may think you're Bantu because you're told you're Bantu, but you could actually be Nilot.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Like your background.
Background. So this one goes up to the year 17 something, and you can see how we migrated because they have markers. So in your DNA, if you have a certain marker, it can show that you...
Do you know how I love history? I'm going today.
It will take you very far. It will take you very far.
Yeah.
So from, you know, the southern Bantu, the western, you can see the Nilots. So I focused a lot on that. And then in the traits, you start seeing things like, you know, are you an early morning person? You know, the sprinter
you even
gene.
See that?
Yes. Vitamin, you know, you see all these nutritional things. So you might see things like you retain, you know, your vitamin D or C very well, or you don't. So you see a lot of information, yes.
Nyaga, are you serious?
Yes, yes. And much more. Yeah, yeah.
So you got interested and started now really researching?
Yes. So I got into that, and then a few days or so, I went into the matches, because they can show you if there are other matches with that DNA. So that's when I started seeing all these, third cousins and what does that mean? But, a third cousin, you have a great ancestor in common.
Yeah.
But there was this one match. They give you the world,
Yeah.
and they show people in different places that you could be matched with. And there was one in the UK, and then there was in the US. So I didn't pay much attention initially because, the information is very new.
Yeah.
But
And you have no idea.
you have no idea.
That there is even anyone that's going to come up. You're just like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I knew enough to know that if you took a DNA test, you will have matches because, if you go far back enough, we are all related in a way.
Yeah.
But there was this one that said close family, so I clicked on it and I drilled down, and then at some point it said 100% match. So I didn't know what I've just done or what has happened.
You're like, okay, what did I touch?
Right. So
Wow.
yeah, and there's this lady in the UK. So I went back and I looked at it again, and I zoomed back in, and he tells me, with this many matches in your DNA, now this being my grandmother's DNA, this person has 100% match, either as your, my grandmother would be the
mother.
auntie, or because my grandmother's father and my grandmother's mother, Lissa has the same DNA as those two, so it puts her within that family 100%.
I knew I must never give up to my family. I knew that. But when I got the news from my nephew, I will never forget that day. I just thought, the Lord is so special.
You know what? Let's just hold that thought right there. We'll continue next week. What?
When it happened, I just had to thank the Lord because He'd answered the prayer. He never answered the prayer with bringing me a nephew or a cousin. He brought me my whole family. So since I've been in Kenya for 3 weeks, and I've met over 150 members of my family.
150.
Could be even more, but yeah.